Hi, my name is Arthurina, and I'm the Curator of Education and Programs at the Davis Museum at Wellesley College. And I am so pleased to be a part of the Emerging Conversation Symposium for a conversation around the future of our education. Today, I will discuss how we have been engaging student employees at an academic art museum in the middle of a pandemic and racial injustice, at an already isolating time in which our museum, like many others, is closed to the public, with some staff working remotely from home, and our students are in varying time zones and navigating through a range of challenges. At the Davis, students are currently learning strategies in virtual visitor engagement, and this session will discuss some of their projects, including their research, development, and leading of tours, pre-recorded videos, hosting of live-streamed events, and art activities to facilitate museum visitors' experiences with art. Today, I will discuss the shift of the program with an overview of the students' projects and training, which emphasizes anti-racism, equity, inclusion, and accessibility during the COVID-19 crisis, and how the museum is serving as a learning lab for students, despite the distance. To begin, I will provide an overview of the transformational shift and combination of two student programs at the Davis. Our student visitor assistants, or SVAs, are part of a hybrid gallery monitor program and are a vital, active, and visible presence in the Davis galleries, who interact with the campus community and general public. In addition to monitoring the galleries, SVAs ensure that visitors feel welcome and provide audience engagement by greeting and assisting visitors, helping to answer questions, and providing general information about the museum and its collections. And they help to promote our exhibitions and programs. SVAs participate in cross-training with our student guides so that they have general knowledge of our permanent collections and special exhibitions, and they are trained in visitor services, life safety, and security. Our student guide program is a paid docent program in which students complete an intensive first-year training. This consists of weekly training on the permanent collections, special exhibitions, and students learn participatory, dialogic, and inquiry-based strategies for teaching in the galleries and interacting with a wide range of audiences and populations. In their first semesters, student guides conduct research and present on one object on view in the Davis's permanent collections, including a participatory activity, to apply their learning to practice public speaking and to gain familiarity and comfort with teaching with museum objects, including a collective understanding of the Davis's permanent collections through shared research and presentations. The academic year concludes with their thematic final tours, in which they conduct research on 4 objects on view, and upon completion, they are fully prepared to begin leading tours for the public during the next academic year. On March 13th, just weeks away from completing their training, like many colleges, on-campus classes came to a halt. Spring break began a week early, classes transitioned online, and like colleagues, I quickly said goodbye to our students who were busily packing their belongings to return home, while others remained on campus due to varying circumstances, all trying to make sense of what was going on. Our student guide and SVA programs were suspended, and we also canceled our remaining in-person programs for the remainder of the spring semester. We used this time to reassess, to connect with our colleagues at peer institutions, and to find other ways to connect with our students in the interim. Fortunately, we were able to work with our volunteer student advisory committee, DIMSAC, who engaged with fellow students on a playlist project in which students paired works of art with music. We hosted a timely career in the arts panel, which I moderated and which featured our newest staff members, 2 of whom began during the pandemic. We consulted with the college's career education department, and we made sure that we were not tone deaf to the growing challenges. We also hosted a couple of coffee with the curator meetings for our students, which is a wonderful way to connect. During this time, we continued to assess how to proceed with plans for the fall. For us, the biggest challenge was in how to transition the SVA program, which solely consisted of their time in the galleries. A looming question was, how can an SVA translate their in-gallery experience to a virtual platform? Over the summer, we worked in developing a proposal and combining our SVA and student guide programs, focusing on virtual visitor engagement. Essentially, this became one brand new program with new roles for all of our students. While our student guides were trained on leading tours in the galleries, and while our SVAs were trained on interacting with visitors in person, none of them had had any experience in interacting with visitors virtually. How does a loss of physicality translate to a virtual sphere? In the student guide training, we focused on tactile and multisensory interactive components to gallery teaching, but when we are all behind screens, how can we connect with our audiences? And how can we connect with one another? Over the summer, I connected with peers at the MIT List Center and Mount Holyoke College Art Museum to learn about their shift to virtual. In my conversations with Mount Holyoke, I learned how their program shifted virtually in the spring and how their meetings moved to twice a week for 1 hour instead of one long meeting, which was a very helpful model as I was already concerned with Zoom burnout for our students. I developed the following syllabus for our combined student guide and SVA program. Our student guides would meet once a week for 2 hours when we met on campus prior to March, and this fall we began with 2 separate hour-long trainings each week. 1 hour-long meeting on Wednesday mornings and another hour-long meeting during part of their regularly scheduled time on Friday afternoons. At Wellesley, there is a designated community time on Wednesdays, and in which there are no classes scheduled at that time, meaning that most students were available. It's been really nice to be able to all be online together, and this helped with maintaining a sense of community. One thing that was both fun and a great way to build community was show and tell. The students each brought one object from their personal space and came prepared to discuss what made it special to them. I also shared my object, and it was a fun way to think about the power of objects in meaning making. I will say that meeting on Fridays became a challenge for some of our students due to varying conflicts, and those trainings are now asynchronous. We use VoiceThread, which we learned about from a colleague at the Hood Museum at Dartmouth College. And it has been a great tool in allowing our students to contribute to dialogue around various training topics, such as our example here in working with K through 12 students, and in which our student guides and SVAs are able to use chat, audio, or video to respond and contribute. It is also a good way for students to communicate in ways that are most comfortable for them in a remote situation, and they have also learned new skills in communication. So here's an example of how we have used VoiceThread. In this asynchronous training, the focus was working with K through 12 students. So you can see here I have an audio recording introducing the theme. Hi everyone, welcome to our first asynchronous student guide and SVA training. Today's theme is focusing on working with K through 12 students and school groups. And then jumping ahead here, I'm prompting the students to put this into practice and for them to take a few moments and choose a grade level and subject area and thinking about their students' learning goals, the theme, and key questions for discussion, and then also thinking about the types of activities that they might incorporate. I've also included a link here to images that are available through the Google Arts and Culture page that we have, and then below we can see the different students' comments and the works that they've chosen. And here a student has chosen Sonia Delaney's Electric Prisms and is thinking about working with 3rd and 4th graders. And she has included a visualization exercise and is beginning with a visual thinking strategies prompt. She is also asking the students questions about the light sources and having the students feel immersed within the painting because the artist was inspired by the street lights of Paris in the 1900s. So she is thinking about using flashlights and incorporating those with tissue paper to think about the designs of the patterns in the painting.
As Arthurina mentioned.
Next, I will share some examples of the students' projects. Here we have Q20, a quinquennial exhibition showcasing Wellesley faculty artists. So here is an interview between one of our students and one of the faculty artists.
Hi, my name is Zoe Taylor, and I am a Davis student guide at Wellesley College. I'm also a member of the Yellow Class of 2023. It is my pleasure today to be interviewing Kelsey Miller, who contributed to our Q20 exhibition last semester, and I also had the fortune to have Kelsey as my drawing teacher last semester. This is such a great way to learn more about our artists and the people who contribute to the collection and special exhibitions at the Davis, so I'm excited for this conversation. Just in passing and out of pure curiosity, I was able to ask Kelsey during class and after class about her contributions to the Q20 exhibition after seeing it on opening night. So I'm excited that everyone else gets to hear the great synthesis and intent with her work and why she chose it to be a part of the Q20 exhibition. I just wanted to thank you for taking the time to do this interview. I remember seeing your work in the exhibition, and I think shortly after that in class, I was able to ask you about it a little bit, and we were able to talk about it. So I'm glad that we get to share this with the Davis community and other community members of the museum and Wellesley. So to begin, what did you learn as an undergrad that still influences your art practice today?
Yeah, I think, so I actually went to Wellesley for my undergrad, which is interesting, bringing it full circle. And I think something that is great about Wellesley and a liberal arts context in general is thinking a little bit more broadly about the things that we're working on and studying. So in the context of my work in printmaking, I think my undergrad experience really helped me expand my understanding and definition of what printmaking means or what it can be.
Other examples include an alt tag project in which the students are focusing on accessibility and writing image descriptions for our website to help visitors who are blind or have low vision. And here is an example of our play date, which just debuted today. And it incorporates 3D scans of the galleries and an art making activity related to Mobile by Alexander Calder. And for our next play date, one of our SVAs is developing a play date focusing on the theme of bridges, inspired by Monet's Waterloo Bridge in our collections, and she'll be reading a children's story. And then it'll conclude with a prompt for art making at home with accessible household materials. At the end of the first term this fall, our guides in training led their final tours, this time in a virtual format. Our students incorporated 3D scans of the museum and high-res images, along with interactive participatory activities and prompts for their peers. Here is an example of one of their final tours with a theme of coming of age. Our students had the experience of leading their object presentations in the galleries last fall, and I'm thrilled that they are now fully trained and will be leading virtual tours for the public and Wellesley students in term 2 beginning next week. Also in term 2, our students will continue their training. Our SVAs will start the term with the historical research training, and other sessions will include decanonization and decolonization, and we'll also explore how we can convert our art and ecology tour program, Bark and Metal, which explores sculptures within the context of nature virtually, which will begin with the creation of a tour through our mobile app. We also hope to create more opportunities for the students to connect with each other and with Davis staff We currently have a virtual care package with activities for college students on our website, and are always seeking ways to reach our students and through our students to reach the community. What I am especially proud of is that our students make a significant impact in museum visitors' lives through sharing their love of art and their own excitement for learning. The Davis is a learning lab for students while also serving as a community center. Through this virtual shift, our students are able to reach a wider audience, and they're also developing new skills in virtual visitor engagement and how to maintain connections with others through the power of art. Thank you for attending this presentation, and please feel free to reach out to me with any questions or even to continue the conversation. In the meantime, I invite you to explore the Davis website to learn about our students' important work.